Hello everyone, this is Pepley the yoga. Come join me for this 9-minute yoga flow at the park. So here I am starting in the standing yoga pose, and then I'm just stretching my arms to the back just to get that full body stretch, and then I'm doing a tree pose just to get that balance going on. So these are beginner friendly yoga poses, standing pose and tree poses. These ones are good for balance and posture. So here I'm doing my tree pose on both sides, the left and the right, and then from there I'm going to do my favorite yoga pose, which is the thunder bone pose. And like I say, this stretches my arms, stretches my glutes, stretches my thighs. And if I do a variation of this thunderbolt pose, I then stretch my back. So those want to say goodbye to those lower back pains and back pains, just try to be seated in your thunderbolt pose and just lean back on your mat until your head is rested on the mat. And then you can also stretch your hands over your head just to get that full body stretch. And also, this is my favorite yoga pose, so you will see I do it in every yoga flow that I do. And then from there I'm gonna come into the pigeon pose. So pigeon pose also stretches your hamstrings, your thighs, and then also you must make sure that your feet is rested on the mat with the dorsal surface of your feet. And then another variation of the pigeon pose is you can remove your elbows from the mat and then rest your palms on top of your knee, so you can put in some weight on your knee so to get that stretch nicely. And then here I am just turning to the other side to make sure that I rest my hand at the back of my knee. So I'm gonna do this another pigeon pose variation where I'm gonna raise my feet from the mat and make sure my toes face to the roof or the sky, because there is no roof here. So when I'm done with my pigeon pose, I'm gonna do my half split. Stretch my hamstrings, make sure I prepare myself for that split, and then just rest my chin on my knee. And then you can do this to a number of breaths, usually 5 breaths, and then you can change to another stretch. So then when I am done with this half split, I did another variation of the half split where I then move my elbows to rest on the other side on the mat. So my head is no longer resting on my knee but just hanging freely in the air. And then from my half split, I then move to the pigeon pose on another side. So I start my pigeon pose resting both my elbows on the mat with my head facing down to the mat and just controlling my breathing. So you can hold those to 5 breaths or however long that you feel comfortable. So from this pigeon pose, when I'm done with this pigeon pose, I'm just gonna move into a variation of a pigeon pose. So if you are doing the asanas or the poses as some call them, so just make sure you hold your breaths for equal amount of time on each side, or you can count maybe 1 to 10, or maybe you can just have a timer where you time yourself, so 30 seconds each or something like that, to make sure that you have equal amount of stretching on both sides and on both legs. Here I'm just basically repeating what I did on the other side. So I did a pigeon pose with my elbows rested on my mat, and then I did a pigeon pose with my hands rested on my knee, applying pressure to my knee, and then again I'm gonna raise my foot to face so my toes can face the sky. And when I'm done with this, I'm also gonna move to a half split. So half split like I did on the other side. Make sure you rest your head on top of your knee, and then you stretch those hamstrings. And then to make sure this is very effective, you make sure your toes are facing you, like you point your toes to your face just to get that nice long stretch on the hamstrings. And when I'm done, I'm just gonna move my head and then rest my elbows on the mat, and now my head is now on my knee. And from the half split, I'm gonna go on to downward facing dog. So downward facing dog also stretches your hamstrings, stretches your spine, your whole spine, your neck, your lower back, your upper back. And then also make sure when you're doing that first downward facing pose, your toes are rested on the mat. So this is another variation where you're just gonna do the rest with your elbows on the mat, still downward facing dog. You can stretch one limb to the A, and when you're done, you're just gonna do the other thing on the other side. So you make sure you just raise your leg up, and then you bend it a bit, and then you come back to the mat. When I'm done, also my favorite resting pose, thunderbolt pose. So some people's favorite pose is child pose, so you can catch your breath and breathe a little. So here I am again with my arm resting on the knees on the mat, and then I'm just pointing at the back as if I'm pointing at someone. So with this pose, you stretch your back and you just make want to attempt your legs being parallel with your hands. Then when you're done, you can go down, catch your breath, and then repeat again. So here I am attempting that. So what I usually say to someone when I want them to try this pose, I usually say you act as if you are pointing at someone who is behind you. You can alternate your hand, one hand rested on your back of your ankle, and then the other one pointing at someone. Then you point at someone with the other one, you rest the other hand on your soul, you repeat equal amount of time, and then when you are done, just hold the back and then look at the sky. Just admire the nature behind you, admire the beauty that surrounds you. This is the beauty of doing a flow outside, where you see trees, where there's grasses. And then again, this is my other resting pose that I like, downward facing dog. Then I walk again to make sure that I'm in for this pose. And then after this, also stretching my back, stretching my hamstrings. So I'm just gonna touch the back of my calves and make sure my head is rested in between my knees, just like that. Get that nice beautiful stretch. And then when you are done, you're just gonna fold your hands together back at the back of your lower back, and then just try to drop them to the floor. And then also your chin will be at your chest and your face will be looking at your knees. Get that nice stretch with your back, your hands, your elbows, your shoulders, and also your hamstrings at the same time. So then when I'm done, I move on to my warrior poses. So this is like a lunge. My video was cut short when I was recording due to battery and stuff, but these are the poses that you want to be able to do when you are doing that stretch, poses that you can look into. So I did the stretches because I want to get my split and my side split to be proper. So then if you're also someone who's working on those splits, this is a pose that you can try at the comfort of your own, and you only need a yoga mat and you're good to go. So thank you for watching until this day. I'll see you in another yoga video. Thank you. Have a blessed life.